Welcome to the Clock Tower. I'm Brandon, and today we're going over Bofuri. I don't want to get hurt, so I'll max out my defense. Now, this is a more unique build than something you're probably going to see anywhere else. Partly because when I looked at this set, I wasn't thrilled with what I saw. I didn't like what the deck was trying to build towards, and I really wanted to capture some of the flavor of the show. You know, Maple going around accidentally breaking the game, and coming up with unique ways of using her abilities to be able to defeat her opponents. And then I saw that this set had 2-soul combos. And welcome to the 8 2-soul deck for Bofuri. Going hard into the memes, and surprisingly, there's something here, and it actually is terrifying that it works. So here's an overview of the deck itself. You'll notice here we don't have any level 2s. We simply have some level 0 game, level 1 game, level 3 game. You're going to be essentially spamming that level 1 combo to reach the end game. Partly because with the 2-soul, you want to kind of move a little bit quicker through your opponent's deck. That's the hope. That's the goal. So with this, let's move right into level 0. Starting off, we have Maple that on your opponent's turn can get an additional 4k power, so she sits at 4-5. So likely to live cross turn at level 0. She also has a pay 1 discard itself to look at the top 4 of your deck and choose one character from among it. So a great way to be able to stay alive and then continue to add resources to hand. We also have a Kome, so we can get our climax to hand, because climaxes are going to be very important in this game, so spamming them is going to be helpful. We have a Brainstormer that allows us to be able to play any climax regardless of color. So we don't necessarily have to worry about getting specifically green into our level zone. We also have then the Climax Swapper, which allows us to be able to get to the right 2-soul combo for the level 1 combo. We have the Climax Swapper, which allows us to be able to get the right 2-soul for the level 1 combo. We have a Chiri to help us get our level 1 combo or our event into hand. Then we also have this Maple that allows us to ditch Climax, if we have flooded with Climaxes, to salvage a character that we need into hand, or to when this card goes to Waiting Room, pay 2 to salvage a character. Again, just trying to get the pieces you need into hand ready to go. So with level 0, really focusing in on those moving through the deck, trying to get the pieces into Waiting Room as well as getting pieces into hand. So look at level 1, we're going all in on this level 1 combo. So Mai and Yui both play off of the same climax, so you can essentially have 8 cards for your level 1 climax. Makes it a little easier to get to, as well as be able to loop. They get power on turn, so they sit at 6-5 on attack. So not super high, but at the same time, you're not really interested in the power as much as you are in the soul. This is very much a soul rush deck. So the climax combo for this one, for Mai, is on cancel. You can stock a character from Waiting Room, and then you top check your deck, and if it's a character, you can add it to hand. Yui's the same way, except it's when your opponent levels up. So kind of playing into where your opponent's deck state is, where your opponent's clock state is. It kind of depends on which one of this combo you want on field. And realistically, having a mixture of both isn't a bad thing either. So just kind of, it really requires you to kind of pay attention to some of those numbers, where your opponent's clock is at, where your opponent's deck is at, where the climaxes are in your opponent's deck or Waiting Room, to depend on what you want to do here. Our other is an Amagi that allows you to grab a level 1 or higher card, so it also allows you to get the event into hand that's going to help close out the game. It also has a Rest Self Blink effect, so you can help remove some of the cross-turn effects like Soul Wall, so you can get your soul rush damage in even more so. You cycle that through level 2, and as we reach level 3, we have this Musashi that's an on-play Musashi that if you also have 4 or more characters, you can choose a character from Waiting Room and add it to stock. Musashi is going to be our big finisher here, so that way we can slam a 2-soul, and then with on cancel, deal additional damage still. So you're still kind of burning despite what your opponent's doing, combined with the event here. With his Maple event, you're able to grant cancel burn 1 to all of your characters on field. So you spam a couple of these ones, and all of a sudden you have now several instances of burn, especially if they're all Musashis. You have the Musashi burn and then the instances of burn that you give it. So all of a sudden, when you start swinging in, you're swinging in for a minimum 4. And if they cancel the 4, congratulations, you now have another 3 to 4 instances of burn damage coming at you. So even if you cancel, you're still going to take something. We also have here a maple that allows us to add cards from hand for free, as well as can, on attack, pay 2 to give something cancel burn. So being able to help, again, play into the idea of just burning and burning and burning, as well as helping to reduce some of the costs so we can pay for this event that's a 3/3. Also then have a couple instances of stock swap, just for the sole fact to try to help affect your opponent's deck state into the way that's going to be most beneficial for you, swinging with lots of damage. So it's really more of a tech piece for specific instances where its use would be really helpful and really good. So as we look at this deck overall, level 0 is designed to get your level 1. Level 1 and 2, you are looping that combo as much as possible, trying to build up on that stock, trying to replenish hand, trying to spam lots of damage with your 2 soul. On top of that, when you reach level 3, you're still keeping the 2 souls coming. You're just essentially you're slamming 2 souls every turn, trying to just maximize the amount of damage you're dealing each turn, so that way you can close out the game from there. From a competitive level, this is really a locals deck. It's very weak to stock swap because you need a lot of stock for your end game, especially if you want multiple instances of that event. Because it's 3 stock a piece, you're looking at 6 to 9 stock just for the event if you're using 2 to 3 instances of the event. Thankfully, the Musashi is trying to help minimize some of that cost with refunding it if there's 4 more characters on field. But it's very meme in flavor. It's very much Bofuri in a nutshell, doing something a bit more unconventional to try to play the game that way. Because, as everybody knows, the best defense is a 2-soul offense. So, it is a strange deck. I like it. I think it's fun. I think it's a fun deck to play. It's a very potentially high-rolling deck, but it can also low-roll like crazy. So, it's something you're going to want to keep an eye on. And I think it's a great way to highlight the flavor from the anime into the game. This is Bofuri for me. So I hope you enjoyed this deck. I hope that at least gives you something to think about as you are looking at Bofuri coming up and looking at some of the different things that Bofuri has available to it. On Thursday, we're going to have some gameplay of this crazy deck, followed by next week, we're going to follow that up with a clock talk and 5 cards, 5 minutes. So looking forward to those things as they come up. Hope you enjoy, and we'll see you next time.